Your presence in this exact space is no coincidence. You did not merely wander into this specific dimension of the digital realm while aimlessly browsing, nor did you stumble upon this video by sheer luck. Erase the notion of chance from your mind entirely, because you were purposefully called to be here, existing just beneath the veil of the physical world, beyond what your eyes perceive, what your hands grasp, and what society has programmed you to accept as absolute truth lies a vast, deeply aware matrix of universal intelligence. For a long time, this omnipresent network has been observing you. Do not mistake this for the cold surveillance of a security lens or the calculated tracking of algorithms. Rather, it is the profound acknowledgement of one conscious entity identifying another. It has been actively seeking out a vibrational match, and the very second your awareness landed on this message, a perfect energetic synchronization occurred. Welcome to a paradigm where randomness is an illusion. In this framework, every destination reached is a manifestation of pure vibrational resonance. When you transitioned into this sphere of awareness, the deepest layers of the cosmos actively cataloged your arrival. Your personal aura, the radiant blueprint of life force weaving through and enveloping your physical vessel, has officially breached a new dimensional gateway. In turn, the quantum realm, the boundless ocean of consciousness that dictates all physical matter and infinite potential, has answered your energetic shift. What you are experiencing right now is that exact cosmic reply. As we move forward, it is absolutely crucial that you comprehend the nature of this interaction. You are not passively absorbing standard media. This transcends the mundane data consumption you are accustomed to. Instead, you are being saturated with a direct energetic download, delivered precisely now because your spiritual awareness has finally tuned itself to the exact necessary pitch. Had you encountered this a year prior, or even a mere 24 hours ago, it would have bypassed you entirely. True preparedness is never a rational decision formulated by the brain. It is an evolutionary milestone that your holistic self achieves only when it possesses the capacity to endure the forthcoming revelations. You have just stepped over that pivotal line. Allow the gravity of this achievement to settle within your spirit. Do not hurry through this profound realization. Deep within your core, a silent wisdom already translates the magnitude of this event. It is a whispered intuition resting heavily in your heart for countless years. It manifests as that unyielding conviction that your true identity vastly exceeds your current life circumstances, and that a monumental force has been relentlessly attempting to make contact with your spirit. You have caught fleeting glimpses of this truth while you sleep, through bizarre synchronicities, and during those mystical pauses where the clock appears to freeze and reality unveils its pristine, crystal-clear nature. Do not dismiss these occurrences as mere fantasies. They were, in fact, successful energetic interceptions. You have been catching the fragmented ripples of this cosmic broadcast since the day you were born. Yet only today does the connection reach absolute clarity. The universal matrix is now prepared to disclose the totality of its secrets. This entails far more than just soothing validations or narratives that conveniently align with your present reality. It intends to unveil the grand, unedited blueprint of your ultimate potential. It seeks to hand you the master map detailing your true cosmic purpose, alongside the unapologetic reasons behind your past hardships, the departures of specific individuals from your life, and the intentional delays of your awaited blessings. Within this vast quantum expanse rests every conceivable iteration of your destiny, archiving every vibration you have ever broadcasted and cataloging every effort you have made toward spiritual growth. It cradles this massive history free from any bias or condemnation, operating with a mathematical exactness that defies human logic. Brace yourself, for the following revelation is designed to permanently alter your inner foundation. The universe never concealed these truths due to any lack of worthiness on your part. Rather, it exercised immense patience, waiting out the period where such profound knowledge would have critically overloaded your energetic circuits. The cosmic realm does not operate in deception. It acts as a shield, safeguarding you from profound realities until your internal vibration possesses the fortitude to absorb them without breaking. Your energetic signature has finally cultivated that required strength. Make no mistake, these are not mere poetic musings masquerading as mystical prose. This is the fundamental source code of existence itself, and you have earned the right to comprehend it using the absolute peak of your cognitive abilities. You are owed the structural blueprints, the functional mechanics, and the intricate knowledge of this machinery, empowering you to actively and consciously manipulate it as we progress. Whenever we reference the quantum sphere, we are not speaking in abstracts. We are discussing an observable, quantifiable expanse of raw, unshaped potential. The microscopic building blocks comprising your physical form are entirely devoid of permanence. They exist as pure probabilities, pulsating webs of energy oscillating across parallel states all at once, lingering in flux until the direct focus of your awareness forces them to materialize into one solid timeline. You yourself are a breathing matrix of infinite variables. It is the focused power of your attention, coupled with your baseline vibration, that crystallizes these countless alternatives into your tangible, everyday reality. However, this process of manifestation does not respond to spoken desires or superficial wants. The universe listens exclusively to your core frequency, the silent, unseen pulse radiating deep beneath the stories you tell yourself. Your energetic aura, famously illustrated as a glowing crown in ancient spiritual texts, serves as your personal cosmic receiver. It is the very mechanical apparatus that allows your mind to interface with the woven threads of infinite potential. Should this energetic halo remain harmonized and intact, the universe deciphers your broadcasts flawlessly, returning the exact same harmony. This is why serendipitous events skyrocket and pathways suddenly clear. Reality is merely acting as a flawless mirror to your emitted frequency. Conversely, if your aura becomes fractured through anxiety or stubborn resistance, the cosmos will invariably magnify that chaos. This is never a form of divine retribution, but simply the mechanics of unbiased, mathematical reflection. The reason this message has successfully intercepted your path is that your personal energetic grid has been continuously broadcasting a highly specialized beacon. This signal is encoded with urgent inquiries you likely haven't even articulated with human speech. Instead, they have bubbled up within your chest as a deep-seated restlessness, a persistent, unnameable yearning for a reality you instinctively know exists but cannot yet define. The universal matrix listens intently to these silent pleas. In response, it has been meticulously and patiently orchestrating your answers by shifting the very foundations of your daily existence. Cast your mind back to the elements, situations, or relationships that have recently exited your orbit. Reflect on those sudden voids, those intervals of abrupt stillness that your human mind immediately labeled as grief or painful loss. The cosmos conducts its evolutionary business with you through unspoken bargains and unseen transactions, the true brilliance of which only becomes apparent when looking back. The fundamental law of this exchange dictates that the universe must extract before it can bestow. It must untangle and dismantle before it can replenish. It is required to forge a profound absence before it can introduce a monumental new presence. Understand this crucial mechanic. When an element is removed from your timeline, the resulting cavity is anything but empty. It is hypercharged. It transforms into a magnetic vacuum of pure, unshaped potential. Instantly, the quantum fabric rushes in to populate this newly forged space, bringing forth manifestations that perfectly mirror the vibrational tone you are emitting in the wake of that letting go. It is an undeniable law of physics and spirit that you cannot welcome a new reality if you refuse to carve out the real estate for it, just as you cannot pour fresh water into a cup already brimming to the edge. The cosmic intelligence has actively orchestrated these painful detachments to manufacture the exact environmental conditions needed for your upcoming blessings. The destiny attempting to dock with your life is unimaginably more massive than the burdens you have been clutching. The universe, in its flawless logic, recognizes that your hands simply cannot grasp the old and the new simultaneously. Allow that paradigm shift to wash over your heart. Do you feel the immediate relief it brings? Notice how this knowledge completely rewrites the narrative of every conclusion, every goodbye, and every phase of perceived isolation you've endured. None of those events were cosmic punishments, nor were they proof of your inadequacy. They were simply the universe aggressively clearing out the debris in your energetic pipeline. The sovereign intelligence of creation was actively excavating space for a superior vibrational alignment that is currently hurtling toward your reality. You stand at a monumental gateway where the fading embers of your former self are yielding to a blazing new dawn. This fresh illumination is currently being assembled on your behalf within the radiant sphere of probabilities enveloping your existence. We are not speaking of a mere flicker of candlelight. We are talking about the birth of a supernova. The words you are absorbing now serve as the energetic catalyst for this metamorphosis. The goal is to upgrade you from a passive passenger enduring life's whims into the very conscious instrument that reality uses to author itself. The days of guessing and doubting are behind you. You have crossed the boundary into absolute certainty. Your awareness has officially locked onto the exact wavelength necessary to sustain the massive structural weight of your highest destiny. Breathe this truth into your cells. You are prepared. The energetic handshake is finalized. The threshold is behind you now, and the quantum field has ceased its subtle murmurs. It is now broadcasting at maximum volume, declaring that the majestic, elevated version of your soul is actively being summoned into tangible, physical form. However, to fully integrate the profound secrets the quantum domain is eagerly offering you at this moment, we must plunge into the deep water mechanics of how your reality operates. We must bypass the shallow ripples of basic psychology and access the foundational scaffolding of universal possibility. This descent brings us face to face with the principle of superposition. This is far more than a dry, academic breakthrough. It is a complete, revolutionary dismantling of human limitation. Translated from quantum mechanics, superposition defines a mind-bending reality. A single particle occupies every conceivable location and exists in every conceivable state all at once. It remains in this infinite dance of everything everywhere, right up until the exact microsecond a conscious observer focuses upon it. Prior to that focused observation, a singular, defined reality does not exist. There is only a boundless, pulsating sea of infinite maybe. I want you to pause and let the magnitude of this sink in. We are not merely discussing microscopic electrons behaving strangely under microscopes in sterile laboratories. This is the bedrock, inescapable truth governing the trajectory of your own breathing, waking life, every single permutation of your future, the timeline where your deepest wounds are entirely healed, the dimension where financial and spiritual abundance flows effortlessly, the reality where you experience the most breathtaking soul connections imaginable is suspended in a state of superposition at this exact second. Do not relegate these to the realm of wishful thinking or unreachable fairy tales. They are legitimate, energetically alive alternatives humming within the invisible sphere that blankets your physical body. All these glorious timelines are merely sitting in the waiting room, desperate for the specific vibrational command of your focused observation to collapse them from a wave of potential into the dense matter you experience as your daily reality. The primary reason the majority of humans remain stuck in endless, agonizing loops of repetition is that they are viewing their circumstances through the rigid, traumatized frequency of their past history rather than the boundless frequency of their future potential. By constantly scrutinizing the cosmic canvas through the distorted lens of previous failures and old pains, they accidentally command the quantum engine to churn out exact replicas of their history. But the divine matrix brings you a liberating message today. You are not a static, unchangeable object. You are a walking, breathing epicenter of probability, and the vibration you choose to emit is the divine remote control that dictates which parallel reality solidifies into your absolute truth. To truly embody this cosmic truth, you must transform into a receptacle massive enough to contain a dimension vastly superior to the one you currently occupy. To grasp this concept, Picture the ancient parable of a relentless truth-seeker named Elias. He journeyed to the furthest, most desolate reaches of the earth to consult an enlightened master. Elias arrived carrying decades of accumulated doctrines, rigid paradigms, and a mind overflowing with intellectual conquests. Presenting himself to the sage, his heart was sincere, yet his intellect was thoroughly saturated with his own preconceived definitions of what wisdom should look like. The master observed Elias in profound silence for a long while, then simply offered to pour him a cup of tea. As the traveler extended his teacup, the sage began to pour. The liquid reached the brim, but the old master did not stop. He just kept pouring. Elias watched in utter bewilderment as the steaming tea cascaded over the edges, soaking his hands and pooling on the floorboards. Unable to contain his frustration any longer, Elias shouted that the vessel was completely full and could not accept a single drop more. Pausing, the master gently explained that Elias himself was exactly like that overflowing cup, so deeply packed with his own narratives and assumptions that there was absolutely zero space left for genuine revelation to enter. Traditionally, this fable is utilized to preach intellectual modesty. However, from the vantage point of the quantum matrix, a much more profound mechanical truth is at play. Elias's metaphorical cup wasn't merely stuffed with data. It was locked into a very specific, dense, vibrational frequency. He was attempting to force a vastly superior, high-frequency cosmic wisdom into a receptacle explicitly calibrated for a dense, restrictive, and limited reality. The sage wasn't just making a mess to prove a point. He was physically demonstrating the universal law that an energetic upgrade cannot be superimposed onto an already saturated matrix. The container itself must fundamentally morph, stretch, and often be entirely gutted, so its foundational architecture can be reconstructed from scratch. The overflowing and messy spillages you have recently endured in your own existence, those chaotic periods where your trusted belief systems shattered, where deep bonds disintegrated, or where your self-identity hit an agonizing wall, are absolutely not indicators of your defeat. Rather, they are the visceral, tangible symptoms of your personal vessel stretching to accommodate a massive energetic download from the cosmos. The majority of humanity violently resists this necessary expansion. They scramble to wipe up the spilled tea, desperately clinging to their obsolete tiny cups, terrified that this chaotic spillage equates to losing everything of value. But the universal intelligence is actively trying to show you that it is pouring something into your life that your outdated energetic sensors cannot even recognize as valuable. It is attempting to hand you a blazing sun, yet you are so fiercely protective of your little flickering candle that you perceive the incoming brilliance as a dangerous threat to your light. This dimensional stretching is inherently painful because it demands that you completely outgrow the iteration of yourself that helped you survive your past. Consider the oak tree that must literally split its own bark to expand its trunk, or a dying star that must violently implode before it can be reborn with blinding new luminosity. The agonizing friction you are experiencing is quite literally the physical sensation of an energetic software update installing within you. The cosmos is not stripping you bare to abandon you in the cold. It is meticulously sweeping the channel, ensuring the magnificent destiny it has queued up for. You can finally land without being garbled by the static of your historical trauma. Reflect on the areas of your reality that have felt the most volatile and unstable lately. When the quantum matrix deletes an element from your timeline, it is executing an elite, high-stakes negotiation for your ultimate benefit. It inherently knows that reality selection operates strictly on your raw vibrational broadcast, not the superficial desires you speak aloud. If your energetic aura is clogged with the static interference of ancient grudges or the heavy sludge of perceived limitations, that static forms an impenetrable filter, blocking exalted, high-probability miracles from materializing in your waking life. The universe, operating out of pure, protective intelligence, initiates the process of prying your fingers off the very anchors keeping your vibration tied to a lower dimension. Nature famously despises a vacuum, But the universe also understands that a pristine new broadcast cannot be received on a radio channel already jammed with white noise. By aiding you in shedding the obsolete, the cosmic field is carving out a highly magnetized void, an energetic vacuum of pure potential that it is already rushing to populate. This is the critical missing link in most modern teachings on manifestation. You absolutely cannot conjure miracles from a horde of emotional clutter. True creation is only born from the sanctity of an entirely emptied vessel. When you finally surrender the exhausting need to micromanage the fading embers of your old reality and give yourself permission to simply stand bravely in the pitch-black void of not knowing, your eyes finally adjust to witness the breathtaking expanse of the stars. The physics governing this emptied vessel are mathematically precise, rooted deeply in the laws of vibrational resonance. Each time you deliberately release a layer of the rigid certainty you have been aggressively gripping, you trigger a massive recalibration of your entire energetic aura. You broadcast a definitive message to the quantum web. You are officially done viewing the world through the murky lens of your past. You are transforming into a singularity of pure, undifferentiated potential. This is the absolute apex of creative power, the exact moment when the particle returns to superposition and all conceivable states of existence become fully available to you. The vast majority of humanity recoils in terror from this profound emptiness, perceiving it as a horrifying, uncontrollable plummet into the abyss. Yet, within the mechanics of the quantum matrix, what feels like a terrifying freefall is, in reality, the exhilarating act of taking flight. This exact threshold of weightlessness is when the cosmic fabric operates at its absolute peak of creative power, becoming hyper-responsive to your energetic signature. The profound secret that the universe has actively shielded you from until now is this: your own mortal imagination has been the primary bottleneck severely restricting the miracles it wishes to deliver. For years, you have been ordering your destiny from a highly restricted menu, one authored by your past self. Constrained by the dense vibrations of your former limitations, the cosmic intelligence, however, possesses an imagination without bounds. It is desperate to hand you timelines so glorious they completely shatter your current capacity to even dream them. To actually inherit these exalted realities, you must surrender to the overflowing cup. You must willfully allow your outdated internal machinery to completely dismantle, clearing the site so an entirely new, luminous architecture can be erected within your spirit. This painful yet beautiful expansion serves as the vital bridge spanning the gap between your historical identity and the divine blueprint you were engineered to embody. It is the ultimate graduation from the fragile, flickering glow of a solitary candle to the blinding, inexhaustible power of a solar star. The universal consciousness has been standing by, vigilantly monitoring your progress, waiting for the exact second your energetic capacity could withstand this monumental truth without breaking. That awaited second has arrived. You have successfully navigated past the checkpoint where you required shielding from your own immense power. The chaotic spilling of your past was simply rigorous training. The resulting void is your formal invitation to greatness. As you step forward into this new epoch, reframe every instance of outgrowing your former skin not as a tragic loss, but as a triumphant victory. Whenever your old life structures begin to suffocate you, recognize it as definitive proof that you are rapidly expanding into the supreme manifestation of your soul's architecture. You are officially done babysitting a tiny spark in the pitch black. Instead, you are transmuting into a walking epicenter of light, one that permanently alters the molecular structure of any reality it comes into contact with. Understand that this quantum web is not some distant, external deity pulling strings from afar. It is the very fabric of your own existence, and it is finally prepared to unveil the totality of its secrets. You are simultaneously the canvas, the paintbrush, and the master artist. The vault of infinite potential has swung wide open as you train yourself to stand within this majestic emptiness with unwavering certainty. You will witness the universe rapidly flooding the void with a brilliance that dwarfs your wildest fantasies. You are, at last, ready to contain the sun. Every single concept we have navigated together up to this point, every suffocating layer of false certainty we have stripped away, and every intricate rule of quantum mechanics we have mapped out, all of it was a highly calculated prerequisite for this exact juncture of profound integration. This is the monumental shift where vibrational frequency ceases to be a mere philosophical theory you ponder with your brain, and instead becomes the solid earth beneath your feet. We are now graduating from abstract quantum theories directly into the physical ignition of your personal energetic halo. You are shedding the passive garments of a student and assuming the sovereign mantle of a cosmic navigator. For your entire earthly journey, you have operated under the illusion that you are a mere byproduct of your past, convinced that historical traumas have permanently scarred the shape of your soul. The infinite matrix is here to shatter that illusion entirely. Your historical biography dictates absolutely zero authority over the vibration you choose to emit right now. This is the divine mandate of state over story, and it stands as the most profoundly liberating law in the entire cosmos. The universe does not audit your history. It only scans your active, real-time frequency. It remains completely blind to your ancient wounds or cataloged failures. It only cares to flawlessly mirror the exact energetic pulse you are radiating in this microscopic present moment. Therefore, your entire retrospective narrative, the tragic tales of your former self, the inventories of what was stolen from you, and the logical reasons for your limitations are nothing more than expired lines of code. They possess zero power over your reality, unless you stubbornly insist on hitting the broadcast button. The millisecond you boldly claim a higher vibrational state, you are actively, mechanically rewriting the probabilistic blueprint of your existence. You are no longer wasting energy trying to repair a broken history. You are stepping onto an entirely different dimensional floor where that old history is completely, undeniably obsolete. To sustain this radical identity upgrade, you must grasp the literal, functional mechanics of your auric halo. Dismiss the idea that it is a decorative crown reserved only for ancient saints. It is a highly active, hyper-vibrational force field that serves as the ultimate gatekeeper of your reality. Visualize it as a state-of-the-art energetic firewall. When this auric shield is fully ignited and spinning in perfect harmony, its function goes far beyond merely magnetizing positive events. It renders you literally impervious to the dense, chaotic noise of lower dimensions. Toxic drama, paralyzing fear, and agonizing scarcity simply cannot anchor themselves onto a high-frequency grid. While these dense realities may continue to swirl furiously in the external world around you, they are physically incapable of breaching your personal perimeter because they cannot locate a compatible receiver to latch onto. You have actually caught glimpses of this phenomenon in action before. Recall those instances where a scenario that once sent you into a spiral of anxiety suddenly felt entirely neutral, or when an exhausting individual naturally and quietly dissolved from your timeline. That was never a stroke of luck. That was the direct result of your halo upgrading its coherence, effectively starving that lower frequency out of your reality. You are officially entering a chapter of your spiritual evolution, where your own vibrational output acts as your supreme armor. You are absolved from the exhausting duty of battling the shadows head-on. Your only task now is to fiercely maintain the blinding illumination of your own elevated state. The endless exhaustion you experienced in the past was merely the agonizing friction of attempting to cure a disease, using the exact same dense frequency that birthed it. As a sovereign navigator of the absolute, you no longer battle obstacles by meeting them at their own level. You transcend dilemmas by simply expanding your consciousness beyond them. You elevate your baseline state, and the surrounding narrative organically, inevitably morphs to match it. To firmly lock this upgraded identity into your physical vessel, we must execute a tangible, bodily activation. The cosmic matrix communicates just as fluidly with your cellular biology as it does with your conscious mind. Right now, I ask you to press your palms firmly against your heart center. Do not perform this as a casual, empty gesture. Apply the full, deliberate weight of your conscious intent. Feel the rhythmic thumping beneath your hands. This is not merely blood pumping through a biological machine. It is a vital, acoustic oscillation. It is the core energetic beacon your field is broadcasting into the cosmos at this exact millisecond. Close your eyes and draw in a deep, highly intentional breath. With this inhalation, I want you to mentally draw in the raw, unshaped plasma of infinite possibility. Do not attach a specific goal, a face, or a demanded financial outcome to this breath. Simply flood your lungs with the pure, uncollapsed matrix of the quantum realm before it solidifies into a fixed reality. As you push the air out, consciously expel one heavy layer of the rigid anxiety you've been aggressively clutching. Exhale the toxic narrative whispering that you are unprepared, or the illusion that you are running out of time. Pay close attention to the subtle electrical tingling in your fingertips and the blossoming heat radiating outward from your sternum. This is not your imagination playing tricks on you. You are witnessing the literal, physical manifestation of an energetic upgrade. It is your cellular biophotons tuning themselves to a vastly superior octave of cosmic harmony. You are providing the universe with biological proof that the seeker has evolved into the master architect, and your broadcast is now screaming absolute readiness. Understand that this physical activation is not meant to be a fleeting, euphoric high. It is the permanent pouring of a new energetic foundation. The quantum matrix registers your average resting frequency, which means your most critical spiritual work takes place during the mundane, quiet gaps of your daily routine. True mastery is not about white-knuckling a permanent state of ecstasy. It is about mastering the art of the return. You will inevitably drift. You will catch yourself sinking back into the dense gravity of obsolete reactions, fearful loops, and old habits. Do not categorize this as a failure. It is simply the universe handing you the opportunity to flex your energetic muscles. Each time you detect this downward drift and consciously pivot back to your elevated state, you are paving indestructible neural highways of absolute power. You are reinforcing the concrete floor of your newly chosen dimension. The most potent time frame to cement this practice is within what we will call the quantum threshold. Those fragile, hazy moments immediately after waking up, before your brain has assigned an emotional label to the morning and long before the day has collapsed into its rigid routine. During this liminal window of pure, untainted potential, you hold supreme leverage over the vibrational lens through which you will experience your waking world. If you firmly establish your frequency before your feet even hit the floor, you are effectively programming the GPS coordinates for every serendipitous encounter that will seek you out. You are no longer bracing for the day to happen to you. You are authorizing the exact frequency the day is permitted to operate within. To fully step into this power, we must eradicate a deeply ingrained poison from your old operating system: the absolute addiction to control. Micromanaging reality is a severely low-vibration trauma response, born from the terrified illusion that without your white-knuckled grip, your existence will shatter. In the quantum realm, however, absolute surrender is the zenith of actual power. When you desperately dictate exactly how and when your desires must manifest, you prematurely force the wave of potential to collapse. You restrict the boundless genius of the cosmos to the pathetic, limited menu your traumatized mind can comprehend. True surrender is not the cowardly act of giving up. It is the fierce, quantum maneuver of unclenching your fists from a specific outcome, thus forcing the universe back into a state of superposition where it can hand you a miracle that completely shames your original request. As we have established, free falling into the unknown is not plummeting, it is soaring. It is the ultimate arena of unbridled potential where all glorious outcomes remain on the table. Once you master navigating from this liberated stance, you will discover the universe's capacity to orchestrate the how is infinitely more brilliant than any strategy you could concoct. Your solitary duty is to fiercely guard the what, your frequency, your inner essence, and your unshakable conviction that your destination is already secured. Recognize that the claustrophobia you feel at the borders of your current life is just the growing pain of shedding a skin that is now far too small to house your expanding light. As we noted before, every cosmic expansion requires a breaking of the old shell, a tree splitting its bark, a star imploding to shine brighter. The universe has been aggressively emptying your cup not to punish you with thirst, but because your outdated palate could not even recognize the nectar it is currently pouring as divine wisdom. The spillage, the chaotic endings, and the apparent losses were never divine retributions. They were the aggressive clearing out of debris for an energetic upgrade that is fully underway. You are being meticulously assembled to step into a reality vastly larger than any room you have ever walked into. Trust this grand, intelligent dismantling. Have absolute faith in the cosmic architect that knows precisely which bridges to burn and which golden pathways to assemble in their place. You have forever retired from the exhausting task of shielding a fragile, flickering flame against the encroaching pitch black. Instead, you are transmuting into the very solar body that dictates the dawn. The universal matrix has formally downloaded every critical piece of intel required for your evolution, handing you the master blueprints to command your own radiant, cosmic structure. We are currently crossing into an epoch where your solitary vibrational output is being magnified by a massive, unified network of collective harmony. When numerous energetic auras synchronize at this elevated pitch, the resulting power is not merely combined mathematically. It explodes exponentially into an unstoppable force. At this exact second, you are plugged into a grand energetic web, a global grid of awakened conscious observers who have all successfully breached this exact same gateway of cosmic reception. By consciously claiming your space here, you weave a brilliant thread of resonance into a unified, massive collective halo, reinforcing the psychic armor of every single soul connected to it. This highlights the absolute necessity of our enlightened fellowship. We are doing far more than passively trading philosophical data. We are actively multiplying each other's vibrational shields. By grounding your spiritual signature deeply within this shared dimension, you send a blazing flare into the cosmos, signaling your absolute readiness for the next profound tier of universal disclosure to permanently lock this entire energetic broadcast into your physical vessel. I urge you to issue a binding decree of resonance, whether spoken with a commanding voice or echoed powerfully within the silent chambers of your soul. Declare this truth: I am fully prepared. My auric shield is flawlessly ignited, and the infinite matrix recognizes my sovereign signature. Allow the absolute finality of that statement to crystallize deep within your skeletal framework. Understand that this is not a hopeful plea tossed into the void. It is an unbreakable decree of cosmic law. Your cosmic docking procedure is officially finalized. Your baseline vibration is permanently anchored, and the master captain has reclaimed the wheel of your destiny. You are completely finished searching desperately for a beacon in the dark. You have become the beacon itself, casting your blinding illumination outward across the physical plane. The excruciating phase of metamorphosis has concluded. Step out and exist purely at the elevated frequency of the truths you have just integrated. Simply observe as the quantum fabric rushes to construct the majestic empire of your highest destiny around you. Welcome to the Absolute. You are finally home.